Imagine for a moment that every cell in your body is not just a biological machine, but a receiver tuned to the frequencies that you are broadcasting by your consciousness right now. Your heart beats not because the muscles contract mechanically, but because the electromagnetic field you generate is 5,000 times more powerful than your brain's, and it spreads out to meters around you, touching reality before you even take the first step. When you wake up in the morning and automatically repeat the same thoughts about yourself, about your past, about limitations, your brain literally activates the same neural networks that were active yesterday and the day before yesterday and years before that. You become a living memory of the past, and your body becomes so accustomed to the chemical cocktail of familiar emotions, anxiety, doubt, resentment, that it becomes addicted to them, like a dose addict. Your subconscious becomes your conscious, and you live on autopilot, driven by programs that no longer serve you. But here's what changes everything. There is a space between thought and reaction. A quantum field of possibilities where the future is not yet determined, where each subsequent second can unfold into millions of different versions of reality. And it is your consciousness, not the brain, not the body, but that observer inside you that collapses the wave function and chooses which potential will become matter. When you meditate and transcend the boundaries of time and space, beyond the identity of your name, history, problems, you enter a quantum field of pure potential, where there is no past that pulls you back, and there is no future that scares you. In this state, your brain waves slow down from beta to alpha and theta rhythms. The door between the conscious and subconscious dissolves, and suddenly you gain access to the operating system of your life. Here you can overwrite programs. When you rehearse a new version of yourself in your mind over and over again, seeing yourself confident, healthy, joyful, your brain does not distinguish between internal and external experiences. The neurons that are activated together connect together, and you literally build new paths, a new identity. And the most surprising thing is that your body begins to respond to this new information even before the event has occurred in three-dimensional reality, that your genes are not a sentence. Epigenetics has shown us that less than 2% of diseases are related to a single gene that you cannot change. The rest are signals from the environment, and your thoughts, feelings, and emotions are the most powerful signals you send to each cell. When you live under stress, your body thinks you are running away from a predator, and all resources are redirected to survival. The genes for growth, repair, and immunity are turned off because now is not the time to grow. Now is the time to be saved. But if you experience the same stressful emotions every day, anger at your boss, disappointment in your marriage, fear for the future, your body does not know the difference between a real threat and an imaginary one. It is constantly in a state of emergency. And after months and years of this chemical load, something breaks. There is pain, illness, exhaustion. Not because you did something wrong, but because your body has become a record of your subconscious mind. Studies show that when a person enters a state of deep meditation, of coherence between the heart and the brain, something incredible happens at the DNA level. Telomeres, the protective ends of chromosomes that usually shorten with age, begin to regenerate. Inflammatory processes decrease in a matter of days. People diagnosed with autoimmune diseases begin to recover spontaneously. And this is not a miracle. It is biology that responds to a new signal. Your personality creates your personal reality. Remember this. Personality is made up of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. These three components are your state of being. And if you want a new reality, a new life, a new body, new opportunities, you need a new personality. You can't become rich by thinking like a poor person. You can't find love feeling unworthy. You cannot heal by identifying yourself with a diagnosis. Most people try to create a new reality as the same old personality, and that's why they get stuck. They expect something external to change so that they can feel different. When I recover, then I will be happy. When I find a partner, then I will feel worthy. When I make more money, then I will feel safe. But the quantum model of reality works the other way around. First, you have to become that person. First, you must generate the emotion of your future, gratitude, joy, freedom, even before the manifestation appears. You have to learn how to be rich before the money comes. Be healthy before the body heals. Feeling loved before a partner appears. This sounds illogical for the neocortex, for the analytical mind that is used to working with evidence. But the quantum field doesn't react to what you want. It reacts to who you are, to your energy, on the vibration you emit. And if you radiate lack, despair, lack, the field responds to you with more defects. If you radiate abundance, even when the bank account is empty, the field organizes events, synchronicities, new neural connections that will lead to matching. When you sit down in meditation and close your eyes, you take your attention away from the three-dimensional world. You're no longer stimulated by familiar surroundings, your kitchen, your desk, the faces of people who always give you the same reactions. Without external stimuli, your brain can get out of emergency call mode and start working differently. Alpha waves are a state of relaxation and creativity. Theta is the twilight zone between sleep and wakefulness, where the subconscious is most easily programmed. And in deep meditation, some reach delta waves, where real regeneration and healing occur. Your brain in these states produces chemicals that no pharmaceutical company can synthesize. Serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, endorphins. The whole pharmacy cabinet of happiness is already inside you, waiting for the right signal. And the most powerful of these substances is not something that causes pleasure, but something that causes transcendence. When the pineal gland is activated, it produces metabolites that alter the perception of reality so profoundly that people describe it as a mystical experience, a revelation, a oneness with all that exists. But this is not magic or religion. This is the neurochemistry of enlightenment. And everyone has access to this state. The problem is that we are so dependent on the outside world, on our phones, news, dramas, problems, that we never give our brain a chance to readjust. We continue to activate the same circuits until they become motorways and new opportunities remain untrodden paths in the forest. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change, does not stop in childhood. Your brain can reorganize itself at any age if you give it new experiences. And the deepest experience is not what happens outside. This is what you create inside. When you visualize your future with such clarity and emotional intensity that your body begins to believe that it is already happening, you are literally establishing new synaptic connections. Your brain changes shape to fit the new mind. And now the most important thing. Emotion is energy in motion. When you feel gratitude even before the manifestation has arrived, you send a signal to the field that it is already here. You collapse the wave function of possibility into a particle of reality. Quantum physicists have discovered that the observer influences what is observed. The electron exists as a wave of infinite possibilities until someone observes it, and then it becomes a particle in a certain place. The same fundamental mechanics are at work in your life. Your attention is the most valuable currency in the universe. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. And what you pay attention to during the day determines your fate. If you wake up and the first thing you do is grab your phone, check messages, social networks, news, you give your energy to the outside world before you created the inner one. You allow your environment to program you instead of programming yourself from within. Every time you react to the same trigger in the same way, the boss says something and you feel annoyed, your partner makes a certain gesture and you feel offended. You see your bank balance and feel anxious. You strengthen the neural network of this reaction. This becomes your automatic program. And the worst thing is that your body remembers an emotion better than your mind remembers facts. The body becomes the mind. It knows how to be anxious even when the conscious mind wants to be calm. Therefore, real change never happens only on a mental level. You can't just think positively and expect life to change if your body is still living in the old emotional reality. You have to train the body emotionally how the new future feels. You should rehearse it so often that it will become more familiar than the past. And when the future becomes more real than the past, when your body is emotionally where your mind wants to go, this is the moment when the quantum leap occurs. Look at your thoughts as energy signatures. Every thought carries a frequency. Thoughts of fear, doubt, anger vibrate at low frequencies. Thoughts of love, gratitude, inspiration vibrate on high. In your body, these 70 trillion cells is tuned to the frequency that you broadcast most of the time. If you're chronically in low frequency conditions, your biology adapts to survival rather than prosperity. The immune system is weakened. Memory deteriorates. Energy drops. You literally age faster. But when you raise your frequency through meditation, through conscious choice of emotions, through working with energy, something magical happens. Your biology receives a new order. Genes for health, youth, vitality are activated. You start emitting light literally. The biophotons emitted by DNA become brighter and more coherent. People feel it without even understanding why. They say, something has changed in you. You glow. Synchronicity is not a coincidence. These are quantum coincidences that occur when your personal energy aligns with the energy of opportunity in the field. Suddenly you think of a person and they call. You need an answer and the book falls off the shelf on exactly the right page. You imagine a possibility and the door opens where the wall used to be. It's not the universe that gives you signs. It is you who have become so coherent in your energy that you attract matching frequencies. The heart generates an electromagnetic field that can be measured at a distance of 3 meters from body. This field carries information. When your heart is in a coherent state, rhythmic, harmonious, it synchronizes with the brain and they begin to work as one system. In this state, intuition is enhanced. Creativity blossoms. Solutions come effortlessly. You exit fight mode and inner flow mode. But most people live with an incoherent heart. Stress, anxiety, anger create chaotic heart rhythms. The brain receives confusing signals and goes into defense mode. You can't be creative when you're in survival mode. You can't be intuitive when you're stressed. You can't be open to new possibilities when your nervous system is screaming for danger. That's why practice is so important. Not a one-time meditation, but a daily practice of reprogramming yourself. Every morning, before the world lets you down, you sit down and ask yourself, what version of myself am I creating today? How would the person I want to become feel? What would she think? How would she walk, talk, respond to challenges? And then you become that person in your mind so completely that when you open your eyes, your body has already received instructions. Placebo shows us the power of consciousness over matter. People take sugar pills and recover from serious illnesses because they believe in a cure. Their faith activates the biology of healing. But here's what's even more exciting, the nocebo effect. When people are told that they are sick, even if they're not sick, they begin to show symptoms. One diagnosis, one thought, one belief, and the body begins to create the biochemical reality of the disease. This means that your beliefs literally create your biology. If you believe that aging means illness and decline, your body will age that way. If you believe that you're a victim of genetics, your genes will be expressed according to that belief. But if you change beliefs, if you know that your consciousness is stronger than any genetic code, you gain access to extraordinary possibilities. Your nervous system does not know the difference between real experiences and the one you vividly imagine. Neurons are activated in the same way when you really do something and when you mentally rehearse it. Athletes have been using this for decades. They visualize perfect execution over and over again, and their muscles, their coordination, their nervous system adapt even when they're not physically moving. One neuroscientist found that people who only imagine themselves playing the piano developed almost the same changes in the motor cortex of the brain as those who actually practiced. It destroys all our ideas about how reality works. If your brain does not distinguish between what is real and what is imaginary, then you can use your imagination not as an escape from reality, but as a tool to create it. Every time you immerse yourself in meditation and live in the emotion of your desired future, you biologically become that person. Your body doesn't wait for the event to happen. It's already there. And when your body believes that the future is now, it sends completely different signals into the field. The field is an invisible matrix of energy and information that connects everything. Quantum physicists call this the 0 point, the single field, the quantum foam. Mystics called it God, the universe, the Tao. The name doesn't matter. It is an ocean of potential in which we all swim, from which we all emerge. And the most amazing thing is that this field answers. It is not neutral. It is reactive. It organizes itself around your consciousness. When thousands of people meditate along with the intention of peace, the crime rate in the city drops. This is not a theory. It has been measured in studies over and over again. Group consciousness influences physical reality. When mothers pray for their children from a distance, children recover faster without even knowing about the prayers. This is called non-local consciousness. Your attention and intention can affect something or someone outside of space and time. You're not a separate creature isolated in a leather bag. You are an expanded field of consciousness that is temporarily focused through this biological tool that you call me. And when you realize that when you meditate and feel connected to all things, you transcend the ego. The ego is not an enemy. It is just a neural network that creates a story about an individual. It's a story you need to survive in the material world, but it's not who you really are. Beyond this story, There's pure consciousness, observer, someone who is aware of your thoughts but is not your thoughts, someone who feels emotions but is not emotions. This observer is your true nature, and it is limitless. He is not born and does not die. It is not limited by time, space, or body. And when you touch that part of yourself in deep meditation, everything changes. The problems that seemed so big are diminishing. The future that scared you is losing its power. You understand that you are not your circumstances. You are a creative force that can change any circumstance. Scientists have measured the energy emitted by people during states of deep meditation and ecstasy. Some people generate energy fields so powerful that the instruments record bursts that cannot be explained by normal biology. One researcher found that people in a state of deep coherence emit infrared light from their hands, literally glow. Another found that the DNA of people who meditate regularly emitted more photons than in the control group. You are a walking, breathing quantum machine capable of things that Western medicine still calls impossible. Spontaneous cancer remissions, regeneration of tissues that cannot recover, healing spinal cord injuries. These stories are not fictional. They're documented, scanned, measured. And the only thing that unites these people is that they changed their consciousness before their body changed. They ceased to be victims and became creators. They stopped waiting for something outside to save them and activated the healer inside. Your saliva contains growth factors that can heal wounds. Your blood carries stem cells that can turn into any tissue. Your brain produces endocannabinoids that reduce pain and inflammation. Your body is a pharmacy that works 24 hours a day, but only if you give the right orders. And the orders come from your state of being. If you're stressed, the orders say, prepare for war. The only difference between a person who lives an ordinary life and a person who lives an extraordinary life is mindfulness. Awareness that every thought matters, that every emotion is a chemical messenger, that every choice you make in that second programs the next. Most people are unaware. They go through life on autopilot, driven by old programs, reacting instead of creating. And then they look at their lives and ask, why is this happening to me? Mindfulness is the ability to stop between a stimulus and a response. Notice, oh, I'm feeling that old emotion again. And instead of automatically living it, asking, who do I want to be at this moment? Which version of me creates a different future? It takes effort. It's much easier to stay who you've always been. But lightness is a trap that keeps you in a loop. Every time you beat the automatic reaction, you win. Every time you choose a new thought over an old one, you change your neurochemistry. Every time you generate a heightened emotion, gratitude, joy, love, for no external reason, you become supernatural. You stop waiting for the world to change you and start changing the world with your energy. Time is not the linear thing you think it is. This is the construct of your neocortex, a way of organizing experiences. But in the quantum field, outside the material world, there is no past and no future. There is only an eternal now, an infinite present in which all possibilities coexist simultaneously. When you meditate and go beyond your body, beyond the environment, beyond linear time, you access this eternal moment. And that's where the magic happens. In this space, you can literally choose a new timeline. Imagine that there are an infinite number of versions of your life that are unfolding in parallel right now. In one version, you are sick and struggling. In the other, you're healthy and full of energy. In one, you're lonely and frustrated. In another, you are surrounded by love and support. All of these possibilities already exist in the quantum field as potentials, waiting for someone to observe them and collapse into reality. It's your job not to create these opportunities. They are already there. Your job is to become vibrationally in tune with the one you want to live. And how do you do it? You live in the emotion of that future now. You don't wait for health to come to feel alive. You feel alive now, and health comes as a consequence. You don't wait for success to feel worthy. You feel your worth now, and success comes as a reflection of that inner state. Most people do the opposite. They wait for an external change to change the internal state. But it leaves you depending on the circumstances, on other people, on luck. You give your power to the world and say, I'll be happy when. In the meantime, you live in a state of waiting, lacking inferiority. And this is exactly the signal that you send to the field. The field does not hear your words, your desires, your prayers. It senses your energy, and it gives you more of what you already are. If you are a fear, you will get more things to fear. If you are a marriage, you will get more situations where something is missing. But if you are gratitude, deep, true gratitude for things that have not even manifested yet, then you're sending a signal of abundance, fullness, completeness. And the field corresponds to the match. The ancient mystics knew this. They said, ask, and it will be given to you. They talked about the request from the perspective of someone who has already received. The feeling of gratitude, even before manifesting itself, is exactly what collapses the opportunity into reality. This is a quantum secret hidden in ancient wisdom. Your pineal gland is your space antenna. This tiny gland in the center of your brain, the size of a pea, produces more than just melatonin for sleep. When it is activated through certain meditative practices, it produces metabolites, chemicals that alter your consciousness so radically that you literally experience other dimensions. People see geometric patterns, feel the presence of a mind larger than their own, receive information that they could not know rationally. These are not hallucinations. It is access to an information field that has always been there, but your normal state of consciousness cannot perceive it. Your brain filters 99% of reality so that you can function in a three-dimensional world. But when you change the brain waves, when you activate the pineal gland, the filter disappears. And you see that the reality is much bigger, richer, more amazing than anything you can imagine. Some people experience it because of psychedelics, others through years of meditation, others because of near-death experiences. But the person himself has all the tools to access these states naturally. Your body is the most advanced pharmaceutical factory. It can produce any chemistry that a plant or a pill can give you, as long as you know how to activate the right processes. Breathing is a bridge between the conscious and the unconscious. You can't control your heartbeat directly, but you can control your breathing. And when you change the rhythm of breathing, you change the chemistry of the blood, the activity of the brain, the state of the nervous system. Some breathing techniques can put you in a state similar to a psychedelic experience in minutes. Others can calm your mind so deeply that you enter into absolute silence, where there are no thoughts, no time, only pure presence. In this state, there is something incredible in the brain. The passive mode network of the brain, the part that constantly chats, worries, plans, relives the past, turns off. The prefrontal cortex, the center of the ego, temporarily subsides. And when the ego disappears, the boundaries between you and the rest of the universe dissolve. You feel unity, not as a concept, but as a living experience. You realize that you have never been separated. The separation was an illusion created by a neural network that is needed for survival, but not for the truth. People come out of such experiences changed forever. They lose the fear of death because they know that consciousness does not end when the body dies. They lose the desire to accumulate and control because they feel abundance in unity with everything. They stop judging others because they see themselves in each person. This is not philosophy. This is not faith. This is direct knowledge that changes everything. And the best part is that you don't have to wait for a special moment or special conditions. Every meditation is an opportunity. Every breath is a chance to change your state. Every second is a choice between living in the past or creating the future. Your nervous system is recovering every second. Your cells are completely replaced every 7 years. You are literally not the same person you were a year ago at the cellular level. So why do you still wear the same story? Why do you identify with the trauma that occurred 20 years ago when not a single cell of that body no longer exists in your body today? This is because you keep activating the same memory neural network. You keep telling the same story. And every time you tell it, you deepen the groove. You make it more real that a memory without an emotional charge is just a neutral event, a fact from the past. But when you remember something and feel the same pain, the same anger, the same shame, you don't remember the past, you relive it again. For your body, this is not a memory. This is today's reality. Stress hormones flood the bloodstream. The heart speeds up. Muscles tense. You have just instructed your body to live in the past, and it obeys. Now multiply that by thousands of times. How many times have you revisited the same traumatic event in your mind? How many times have you told a story about how you were betrayed, offended, left? Each repetition is a rehearsal. Each rehearsal strengthens the neural pathway. And in the end, your body becomes a living artifact of the past. It is physically in an event that ended years ago. True forgiveness is not a moral act. This is a biological necessity. When you hold on to resentment, to anger, to the desire for revenge, you poison yourself. Not another person, oneself. You keep your body in a state of inflammation because chronic emotions produce chronic chemical cocktails that destroy tissues, weaken bones, and damage organs. Forgiveness is not about another person. It's about freeing your own body from the prison of the past. And you know what happens when you let go? When you meditate and consciously decide not to activate that neural network anymore. It's hard at first. The body screams. It wants the usual dose of chemistry. It knows how to be offensive, sad, angry. It's familiar. It is safe in its predictability. But if you hold on, if you keep choosing in a new way, something amazing happens. Old synaptic connections begin to weaken. Neurons that are no longer used together are disconnected. And suddenly one day, you notice that this event no longer has power over you. You can remember it without emotional charge. It has become just a story that once happened, but no longer defines you. This is freedom. True freedom is not in changing circumstances. It is freedom from the need for circumstances to be certain before you can be at peace. When your peace depends on the world, you will always be dependent. But when your peace comes from within, when you cultivate it as a practice, no matter what's going on outside, That's when you become steadfast. The storm may rage, but there is silence in the center. Meditation is not an escape from life. This is a workout for life. Every time you sit down and observe your thoughts without judgment, you are training the mindfulness muscle. Every time you notice an emotion that comes up and decide not to respond automatically, you build a new neural network of choice. And over time, this practice carries over into your daily life. Someone says something provocative, and instead of an instant reaction, there's a pause. Your strength lives in this pause. Quantum possibility exists in the pause between stimulus and response. In this small space, where the old I dies and the new I is born. Most people never enter this space. They live as automatons, programmed by the past, predictable in their reactions. But the one who meditates, who practices mindfulness, expands that pause. A second becomes 3 seconds. 3 becomes 10, and suddenly you have time to choose. Time to ask, who do I want to be right now? Energy follows attention, but attention follows energy. When you are exhausted, your attention is scattered. You can't focus, you can't create, you can't maintain a vision. Therefore, it is important to understand where your energy is going. Every person you interact with, every situation you get into, every thought you think, either gives you energy or takes it away. Toxic relationships are not just unpleasant. They literally suck your vitality. You come out of certain conversations exhausted, not because you are weak, but because there has been an energy exchange and you have lost more than you have gained. Science measures it now. When 2 people talk, their heart rhythms begin to synchronize. Their brain waves are aligned. This is called co-resonance. If you're with a person who lives in a high-frequency state, joy, enthusiasm, love, you naturally ascend. If you're with a person in a low-frequency state, depression, anger, sacrifice, you naturally fall, unless you have a very strong energy limit. Setting boundaries is not selfishness. This is energy hygiene. You can't lift others if you're drowning yourself. You can't target the world if your own energy is exhausted. It's like on an airplane. First put an oxygen mask on yourself, then help others. When you are full, when your bowl is overflowing, then you can share without exhaustion. But if you give out of emptiness, you create even more emptiness. Your electromagnetic field is your energy signature in the world. Some people walk into a room and everyone feels it, not because of their words or clothes, but because of the energy they radiate. There are people who glow, whose presence elevates others without any effort. This is not a talent that one is born with. It is a cultivated state of being. It's the result of daily practice of raising your frequency, purifying your energy, choosing love over fear over and over again until it becomes your nature. You are a transmutation machine. You can take low-frequency energy, stress, anxiety, anger, and transform it into high-frequency energy, peace, clarity, love. Alchemists of antiquity talked about turning lead into gold. They didn't talk about metals. They talked about consciousness. Lead is the heavy, dense emotions of the ego. Gold is the light, pure energy of the spirit. And the philosopher's stone that makes this transmutation possible is your conscious attention. You did not come into this world to repeat someone's story, not to live on autopilot, driven by ancestral fears, beliefs that never belonged to you, limitations that someone else decided were real. You came here as a pioneer of consciousness, as a quantum creator capable of generating a new reality from an invisible field of pure potential. Every morning when you wake up, the universe asks you one question: which version of yourself will you choose today? Not because of words, but because of the possibility of that moment. And your answer is not what you say, but how you think, how you feel, how you act in the early hours of the day. These first hours set an energetic template for everything that unfolds next. Change does not require years of therapy or titanic effort. It requires a solution. One moment when you look at yourself honestly and say, I'm not going to be that person anymore. I will no longer live in the past. And then you sit down, close your eyes, and start building a new neural architecture for the person you've decided to become. Your body is the most precious temple. Your mind is the most powerful tool. Your consciousness is a bridge between the invisible and the visible, between the quantum field of possibilities and material reality. When these three elements work in harmony, when thought, feeling, and action align with a single intention, you become an unstoppable force of creation. The world will not change for you. It will change because of you. When you raise your frequency, you raise the frequency of everything you touch. When you break out of old patterns, you give permission to others to do the same. When you live as proof that transformation is possible, you become a beacon for those who are still wandering in the dark. It's not about perfection. It's about referrals. Not about never falling, but about getting up every time with more wisdom. Not about controlling every thought, but about being aware of when an old thought comes and having the courage to choose a new one. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not your diagnosis, your bank account, other people's opinions about you. You are a limitless consciousness temporarily playing a game of limitations to remember your power. And now it's time to remember. The quantum field is waiting. Not somewhere out there in the future. Right now, the second you read these words, infinite possibilities explode into existence and curl back up, waiting for your attention. Your next thought, your next emotion, your next choice is the choice that will determine which of these possibilities you will live. So close your eyes for a moment after these words. Feel your heart. Thank your body for carrying you. Thank your breath for connecting you to life. Now ask yourself, who do I want to be? Not tomorrow, not when circumstances change. Now, at this point, and then become that person. Think like her, feel like her, breathe like her, because you're not your body. You are consciousness in a quantum field, and all that you have ever wanted to create already exists, waiting for you to become vibrationally in tune with it. It's time to become that person. Time to activate that future. It's time to step beyond your limitations and step into the majesty of who you really are. Now, not tomorrow. Now,